Welcome to this Alberta Health Services training video for safe client handling, 1- and 2-person transfer with belt. The information and guidance provided is based on research and best practices available as of January 2015 and is brought to you by the AHS Workplace Health and Safety Department. Transfer belts are used after it has been confirmed from the functional assessment that the client can bear their own body weight. A one-person transfer with belt is used when a client has demonstrated weight bearing through part or parts of their body, are cooperative, predictable, and reliable in physical and mental performance. They must also demonstrate the ability to maintain balance while walking, shuffling, and pivoting. The worker begins by explaining the procedure to the client and how the client can assist. The worker will then apply the transfer belt around the client's waist and ensure the client has appropriate footwear. Next, adjust the bed height and ensure the bed's brakes are locked. Instruct the client to sit on the edge of the bed with their feet flat on the floor. If the surface being transferred to is a wheelchair, put the wheelchair in position next to the bed, locking the brakes and removing the leg rests. The worker assumes a stride stance with one foot close to the bedside while the other foot braces the client's feet or knees to prevent slipping or buckling. The worker will then bend at the hips and knees and grasp the transfer belt. Instruct the client to lean forward and look at their toes. The client does not hang on to the worker. State 1, 2, 3 stand with the client standing on the command word. The worker keeps the client close and adjusts the position of their feet to maintain a solid stance. Instruct the client to pivot and take small steps backward until the back of the client's legs are touching the wheelchair. The worker instructs the client to lean forward by bending their knees and hips, placing their hands on the armrests, and lowering themselves into the wheelchair. The worker can then remove the transfer belt. A two-person transfer with belt is used when a client has demonstrated weight-bearing ability through part or parts of their body, are cooperative, predictable, and reliable in physical performance, however requires two workers to provide assistance due to the inability to maintain balance and coordination while pivoting, walking, or shuffling their feet. For the two-person transfer, inspect and prepare all equipment prior to use. Explain the procedure to the client and how they can assist. Apply the transfer belt around the client's waist. And ensure the client has proper footwear. Adjust the bed height and ensure the bed's brakes are locked. Workers instruct or assist the client to sit on the edge of the bed with their feet flat on the floor. If the client has difficulty getting into a sitting position, workers can provide minimal or hands-on assistance. If the surface being transferred to is a wheelchair, place the wheelchair in position, allowing enough room to move. Lock the wheelchair's brakes and remove the leg rests. Both workers grasp the transfer belt and cradle the client's shoulders between them. Workers may cross hands when grasping the transfer belt. Instruct the client to lean forward and look at their toes. The client does not hang on to the workers. State 1, 2, 3 stand with the client standing on the command word. The primary worker instructs the client to pivot and take small steps backwards until the back of the client's legs are touching the wheelchair. The worker instructs the client to lean forward by bending at the knees and hips, placing their hands on the armrest, and lowering themselves into the wheelchair. The workers can then remove the transfer belt. Remember, stop, look, and listen. Reduce the risk of injury by asking yourself 3 questions. What can the client do? What equipment do I have available to me to complete this specific task? And how can I get into a good body position for this move or transfer? Now, it is time for you to put the information from this video into practice in your job and workplace.